Hello all and welcome to Global Azure Virtual 2020 session on Microsoft Azure Personalizer. Hope everyone is healthy and safe at home. So Azure Personalizer. So the way we have structured this content in this session is we will try to understand Azure Personalizer by answering few generic questions. Now these questions usually comes to our mind whenever we try to learn any new things. So for example, what is Azure Personalizer? Um, why do we need Azure Personalizer? What white space it is trying to fill up? What problem does it solve? Then we will look at how Azure Personalizer works. We will actually have a clear understanding when we go through the demos on how it actually works, but we'll go through few slides which will make us understand what are the things that goes into creating Personalizer and behind the scenes what algorithm it uses and how it works. Then we'll talk about where we can use Azure Personalizer, which scenarios does it fit. We'll take few examples and try to understand how we can use Azure Personalizer in that context. We'll talk about very important aspect within Azure Personalizer called feature. We'll understand what it is and how it plays role in using Azure Personalizer to its best performance. Then we'll end up this session with a demo by Manisha. Okay. What is Azure Personalizer? It's at a high level, it's a AI API, which is a new service that has been introduced as part of Azure Cognitive Services family. Now, Cognitive Services within Azure is a set of AI APIs. Uh, Basically does machine learning and uses AI algorithms behind the scenes. But for you as a developer, you need not worry about those complexities. It provides a simple abstraction in terms of, APIs, a few APIs we need to call and we can start using those AI models and learnings in our applications. So Personalizer is the newest service in that portfolio today. So what exactly does it do? So if you have seen, in fact, most of us have gone through, the YouTube apps where you have seen recommendation videos which is tailored to your browsing experience with that app and tailored to your interests. So what it does is basically it will provide you a recommendation based on what you have seen earlier and maybe what is trending today in the location where you are there. So this is what exactly Personalizer does. It learns user behavior over a period of time, a user or a group of users, and will recommend an action which is more likely the user would go and see or interact with. It can also do personalization of the content. For example, when we today go and see news articles all over the places, so most of the Android apps or iOS apps, if you see, it provides that personalization experience. Let's talk about Google News for that matter, where you can go and choose, okay, these are the news articles I'm interested in. I'm interested in politics, sports, and entertainment. So whenever the next time you open Google News, it will try to show an article from these three areas or whatever is trending today within your locality. Let's say there is a breaking news. It will try to show that news at the top for you. So this is all personalizing the content based on user behavior and his interest, which personalizer or the AI would learn seeing your history. Behind the scenes, personalizer uses reinforcement learning. This is one of the famous AI algorithm which is used in industry today. One good example that I can give you for this is Google's DeepMind product called AlphaZero. AlphaZero is a computer chess player, and it uses AI behind the scenes to learn and improve its chess playing capabilities. Now, there is an article which is published. There is a paper which is published, which from Google, which says that this AlphaZero AI was created, and it took 4 hours. Just given the rules of the chess, it just took 4 hours for that AI to master the chess playing capabilities, and it competed with the best computer system in the chess at that point of time called Stockfish, and it defeated it, flat with a score of 100-1. So that's the power of reinforcement learning. Okay. So having understand what personalizer is, it becomes clear why would we need personalization. So personalization, one of the major reason is to engage your user experience or to enrich your user experience even more. Because if you present a content which is more tailored towards your users, there is more highly likely chance that he would go and interact with that content. For example, news article we spoke about, right? So if you throw me an article which I'm not interested in, uh, I might not come back to your website again. I might go back to another product of the similar kind where it is throwing up articles to me which are of interest to me. So content suggestion we already talked about. Content layout as well. So if I am interested more towards sports article, for example, so you can actually put sports article at the very top, and then that way you are adjusting the layout of your content towards your users. Um, so this is another example why personalization can help you. It also helps in reducing the time, right? I mean, you don't have to scroll through that list and see which is the article that you want to read now, because that is already present at the top for you. Menu suggestion. Now, this is very interesting. The typical example that I take here is of a banking website. So whenever I log into bank website, most of the times I would go and see the account statement, the mini statement, to understand what are the last few transactions that I have done, what was the amount and such. So based on this behavior, we can train Azure Personalizer to suggest that mini statement as the first menu for me whenever I log in. So why personalizer then? I mean, we can achieve the same thing. So to achieve that personalization, we have to build complex machine learning models. We have to train those models. We have to configure those models in a way that it is optimized. And we have to evaluate those models so that we can deploy it in our environments. So all these tasks are very complex, and it takes good amount of time to accomplish them. So personalizer, this is where personalizer shines basically. You don't need to have this machine learning expertise to create those ML models. You don't have to understand different configurations, host of configurations to optimize that model. Also, it provides you a very intuitive interface that we will take a look in the Azure portal to evaluate your model quickly. So these are all the plus points where Azure Personalizer shines, and it gives you an abstraction layer on the machine learning models, and we can get started pretty quickly using Azure Personalizer. Okay, let's see how it works. So there are two APIs that Azure Personalizer provides today, using which we can embed Azure Personalizer within our applications. Now, the first API is called as Rank API. Now, as our name suggests, right? So what it would do is it would, given the list of actions that we want Personalizer to rank, it will rank it based on the certain features and the context. We will try to understand what that features and context is as we move along. So based on those features and context, it will rank all the actions. For example, we the news article, right? We can say, okay, these are the 10 news articles, and give it to the personalizer service, and personalizer service will rank all these news articles based on the current context, and it will respond back with the highest probable or highest ranking news article, which user is more likely to engage with. So behind the scenes, it uses algorithms, and there are two ways we can ask personalizer to rank our list of actions. In this case, list of news articles. So exploit and explore. To understand this difference between exploit and explore, I'll take an example. Let's say we have a user who goes to a tea stall every day, and he has been visiting that tea stall from past a year or so. The owner of the tea stall knows this person. He interacts with this person on daily basis. So when so the next time now the user goes to that tea stall, by default he knows what kind of tea he likes it. So he will instead of he ordering that tea, the waiter would go and bring the Irani tea, for example. He likes Irani tea. Most of the times he drinks that, so he will bring that Irani tea to him. So what is happening here is you are exploiting the understanding of that user based on his past interactions, and you are suggesting what is the best drink for that user. So this is called as exploitation, where you use your previous inferences about that user. Exploration is like, let's say the next day again he visits that tea stall, and today is cloudy and rainy, okay, and instead of offering him the Irani tea, he just he has this new drink that he has in his menu, so he will go and uh, serve that new drink to him, just to explore on how the user would react to that. Maybe he would like it, maybe he would not like it. So this is called as exploration, not using the inferences or understanding of that user from the past interactions. Just to explore, to see if this could also be something very interesting to the user, or may not be. So that's how I would see exploit and exploration. So that's the rank API. Now, there is another aspect to it, right? So personalizer provides you with the best recommendation. So how would personalizer service learn whether that recommendation was something which was useful for user or not? So let's say using the same example of news article, uh, suppose that user reads that entire article. So what would happen is a feedback would go back to the personalizer using this reward API. Now what reward API does is it will send a reward number ranging between 0 and 1 based upon how much of the article he has read. So let's say if he has read the entire article, news article, reward score of 1, which is the highest score, that would go back to the personalizer service. Let's say if he has read only the half of the article, and a score of 0.5 would go back to. And if he has not read at all, a 0 score would go. So this is the feedback that goes back to the personalizer service. And personalizer service based on this will retrain its learning model, and subsequently during the next interactions it will use that so there are two things. It collects data and uses that data to learn the train the model. So this is overall how it works. It's a technical flow for personalization. So we have these users who's interacting with this application. So rank API takes two inputs, as we talked about. The actions to choose from. So this would be the list of articles, news articles in our example, and user information. So what kind of device he is using. Is it a mobile or a tablet or a laptop? And some other features like which browser he is using, or which app he is using, or what is the time of the day, let's say, and what is the weather like today. So all this becomes, context information for the rank API. The rank API would use this context and rank the news article based on those feature set. Uh, Once it has ranked, it will give the highest probable news article back as a response to the application. Now, once the user interacts with that news article, given he has interacted, so a reward score would go back to the personalizer service using the reward API. If it doesn't interact, a score of 0 goes back. So there is always a feedback that goes back for each call. So based on this reward API, the training service will go and remodel the or optimize the model, ML model. And the same thing is saved in the as an inference here. Now exploration we discussed. So exploration we have setting within personalizer service where we can tell, okay, out of 10 calls, you provide me a rank response based on exploitation. So use that previous understanding of user and give me the best possible recommendations. Or so 9 out of 10 times we would get that as a response, and 1 out of that 10 it will try to explore and recommend something which is not the best one, but the other news articles for in this case, to see how the user would react to those things basically. So let's take a more concrete example and try to understand this flow now. So here in this case, so we have a site which displays range of videos. So we pass on the metadata related to that video. For example, is that a video belonging to an animal, or is it something related to sports or entertainment? So all this information is passed on as a metadata or the context information to the personalizer service, and the personalizer service takes, okay, this 3 as an probable list of actions and will rank them, and it sees, okay, this is the highest video, this is the video that user would be more interested in, and then it gives back that as a response. And if the user interacts, a reward score goes back to the personalization service. Okay. So having understood how it works, and this by now would be pretty much clear where all we can use it. We have already seen a couple of examples, but let's see some other scenarios where we can use Azure Personalizer. Intent clarification. So today, most of the sites provide this feature where you have, for self-service, you have these chatbots where you can go and try to get answers to frequently asked questions, for example. So you type in your own English language, but the chatbot behind the scene needs to understand the intent behind your question. Sometimes it becomes very difficult because user is trying to ask the question with a natural language. So this is where even we can use personalizer to understand the intent and reduce the disambiguity. Going back to the, so I can take a typical example here. For example, in the banking website, there is a chatbot. And let's say I'm interacting with it and I am asking a question like, I need an account statement. Now, there are multiple intents behind it, right? There are multiple understanding that chatbot can take out of this question. There are various features within banking website which can provide you account statement like the mini statement or a historical statement, or take a service request to deliver you a physical statement as well. So that is one example for personalizer. Then bot. Okay, let's say if the bot is capable of giving a reply, speaking. So we can, configure the traits and the tone of that bot in such a way that it almost sounds like a human. So when we interact with that bot, it feels like we're interacting with a human. So such level of customization can be done using personalizer. Notification. Now, this is again very interesting use case. So you can actually personalize the content that you deliver as part of notification to users. And also you can learn based on his interactions with the notification at what time he's most probable to look at the notification when it is flashed on his phone. Let's say if you try to flash a notification at the night in 2 p.m., there is very less likely chance that he would go and interact with it. Vis-a-vis, if you send that notification in the morning 10 a.m. Okay. Features and actions. So these are two important things when we are designing or creating Azure Personalizer to understand. Features is any information which describes the current context. Now, current context could be, physical context as well as, logical or the software component context. When I say physical context, it could be the weather, it could be the time of the day, or part of the year, or if there is any special occasion going on like Valentine's Day or Children's Day or Mother's Day, all this could be an added context feature as well. Features can be very generic or it can be very specific to an item. So what do I mean by that? When I say generic, it is not targeting, you cannot identify a feature by a single user. So let's say in case of news article, we spoke about, okay, what kind of device he is using. So is it a mobile or is it a tablet or a laptop? So using that as a feature, the mobile, tablet or laptop doesn't tell you anything about, user itself, but it is like a generic device which is more generic to a set of users. We can also be very specific. Instead of passing the mobile as a feature, we can actually give the device ID as one of the features. So the next time the user interacts with the same device, we can personalize the content based on the device for him or her. A feature could also be a day of the week that we already spoke about. So this is the feature. Then actions. Actions represent a list of options. So what do I mean by that? So in case of articles, we saw, okay, these are the 10 possible list of news articles that user might want to see, but we want personalizer to give us the best possible article that user will more likely be engaging with or reading it. So this list of articles or this list of entities is, we call it as actions within the context of Azure Personalizer. Now actions would have this list of features. That is how Personalizer service would rank the actions, understanding the context and seeing that context, within these actions and ranking them, which feature would be of higher importance than the other features. Now, the best practice here is to not have more than 50 actions. So again, going back to that news article, let's say if there are thousands or millions of news articles today on the website, you don't want all the million articles to be given to Personalizer to analyze and give the best possible article out of it, because it would be very random and very generic. It won't be any good for the users. Vis-a-vis, if you, let's say, give only a few 10 or 20 articles which you would be more interested in, and out of that a best one, there's a high likely chance that he would go and read it. So that's it. Let's jump to the demo now. I'll hand it over to Manisha. Thank you, guys.
Hello everyone, this is Manisha. Here I'm to explain the demo part. This is the Azure portal. I have logged in with my account. You can search the Azure Personalizer in multiple ways here. One is by searching directly in the search bar, which you can see in the home page by typing personalizer. You can see it in marketplace. It's showing cognitive services because it is part of personalizer, as Vishwa told you earlier. You can search over there, or the another is go to home button, click here, go to all services, go to AI and machine learning, go to cognitive services, click on add. And click on see more. You're in cognitive services. You can find personalizer over here. Click on add. Click on create. Let's name it example demo. And the subscription I have is Visual Studio Professionals. Let me select it. And location based on your requirement. I'm just keeping it as East US. Pricing tier. We'll have two different of pricing tiers. F0 and S0. F0 is free. It gives 50k transactions per month, and S0 is standard tier. We can change the visiting tier later if you want. I'll show you how it is once we have created it. And the resource group, click on create. Okay. It takes some time, so let me show the one which I have created earlier. I'm going to my resources. Yeah, this is WAM personalizer. Here we once you create, you'll see this this page. Here you have to copy key and endpoint, which we have to set up in the coding part, which we have to give. And let's go to configuration. Yeah, here we have to, in reward we have three different properties. One is reward time, default reward, and reward aggregation. Reward wait time. This is nothing but in how much time the reward has to go to rank API call. Let's set it to some 15 seconds so that it takes as earlier response. And the default reward, if user didn't give any response or didn't see the article at all, then the default reward will be gone to API within the reward wait time after the time is completed. And later reward aggregation, this is two, can give two things. One is earliest and the sum. Earliest is like when we view it the same article multiple times, the earliest one reward will be going to the rank API. If we select sum, it gives the aggregate reward to the rank API call. And this is exploration. How much percent of rank calls to use for exploration? Vishwa has explained you the exploration and exploitation, right? This is exploration. So here I have set it to 20%. It's like 120 calls out of 100 calls are to be used for exploration. And the model update frequency, how much time it should be updated. So I am setting it to 15 seconds. and data retention. How many days should personalizer retain log data? You can change based on your requirement. And next, let's click on save. Let's go to model and learning settings. Yeah, here you can export your all the learning settings you have given, or you can add the existing one which you have. If you have already created one and you want to use it for the another project, the same model and learning settings, you can select the file here and upload. Click on upload button once you choose your file. And if you want to clear the model data, you can click here, clear data, so the whole data will be cleared. And the next thing is evaluations. I have created one. You can click here and create an evaluation. Evaluation is nothing but it shows how our personalizer is working. Let's go to compare feature effectiveness. Let's see, it gives from high to low. These are the features. At this set of features, uh, the user is using this particular article, and the very low, the least is the thing. You can go scroll down, you can find the last one. And you can also, let's go back, and you can also compare with other learning settings. You can see a graph here, right? You can also do this by giving your others comparison. You can apply something and load it. This is how we'll configure. Apart from this, we have to create a personalized text analytics. You can search text analytics in the search bar and you'll find one. You can create it. And these are the two things, key and endpoint. Copy this and we have to use the end code. So let me open Visuals. I'll show you the code where you have to give these keys and endpoints until it loads. Let's see the website. This is the one which already Microsoft has personalizer team has given us. I'm showing you the same for demo. Here, these are the set of features, right? Work week, time, AM or PM, and the type of the season. So let's click on here, show a personalized article. See, yeah, when you scroll this, you can see here, right, reward. The reward is changing. And the time left. This is the reward wait time, which I have given that is 15 seconds. Okay, so reward has been sent as 1 here. And you can also see the responses here. This is great, how it is going. And for this rank call, personalizer has used a learning model, right? We said 20 calls out of 100 calls will be using exploring, remaining will be using learn model. So here it is using the explore, this one, exploiting. It means the settings we have, which we have created using that. And let's see for the another weekend. Yeah. Some dining. Task is show personalized article. See, it's showing a different one, right? Yep. When we go back to the previous feature, it has to show the one which have We have scrolled. See, it's showing Microsoft partners with open classrooms. See, now, again, I told right, earliest and some aggregation. Here we are doing multiple calls. So I have given earliest, right? So it will take one now. This is how my personalizer works. Let's go to the coding part. It's loading 1 second here. And then see in WAM personalizer, I think I forgot to show the pricing, how to change the pricing tab. See, the only thing we have to do is we have to change these endpoints. You can get the code from the GitHub for a try, for a demo thing, or if you want to try it, you can find it in Microsoft documentation. You have to change this endpoints. This is personalization endpoint and this is text analytics endpoint. I have shown you both, right? You have to add the endpoints here and you have to add the endpoint URLs here, the keys in the secrets.json. This is how we have to do. Thank you. So you can change the pricing tag here. You can change always at any time if you want to go to the standard tier. Yep, thank you. I hope you got this. And if you have some questions, let's have a Q&A session after this. We shall answer you. And stay home, stay safe.